It's time to once again feel the beat. Ladies and gentlemen, it might have been a fill time until this next person has joined us. He has.
Okay.
The Buffalo Bills general manager since 2017, Brandon Beane.
Yeah.
How are you, boss?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Good to see you, boys.
I'm a little winded. You know, we're feeling the beat a little bit too hard there, waiting to get you on air. Thank you for joining us on this glorious Tuesday. You look fantastic. How's life after the draft is over? Are we a little bit more relaxed? Is the draft a big game? How do you view it as general manager?
Yeah, you know, it's you take a deep breath, and then in this seat, you say, "What's next?" And it's start working on your scouting staff. Is there any changes there? Start working on some things just throughout your football operation, and then obviously next weekend is our rookie camp, so we're still working on filling that out and just trying to line everything up. It doesn't stop. It's just kind of like, what's next?
Okay, so let's talk about some of the moves that you might make. Are you firing the person who said, yeah, we should trade with the Kansas City Chiefs and make them better, you know, whenever they are the person or the team that we got to play against every single year in the playoffs? Did you hear that narrative? And is that a thought that you have to take into consideration whenever you're making moves on draft night?
Yeah, listen, anytime we trade with someone, if people think, you know, you should take a player there, offense, defense, in this case, receiver, you're always going to get criticized. And it'll have to play out on the field, you know, ultimately with the players that we acquired, the player they acquired. But you can only, it's not like we traded the player to Kansas City. I get that narrative. Like if we had traded, you know, Stephon Diggs to Kansas City, well, why would you trade him there? You don't truly know who someone's going to select when you trade with them. You know, they're not going to call and say, hey, we're trading up and we're going to take this player. And if you don't trade with them and you pick a different player, they can still trade up with someone else. So I've never understood that narrative. You know, I'm sure they didn't just call the Buffalo Bills to trade up. They probably called some other teams too.
Okay, so you end up trading twice. So you go 28-32, and then you go Carolina comes up 32. You go to 33 or whatever for the second round. You take Keon Coleman, who his press conference in that Macy's jacket, top of the line. I hope we got him some good snacks.
Yes.
I hope we got him a microphone a lot. But then the story goes on that Josh Allen loved Keon Coleman, loves the draft process. Is that a big piece of why you bring in Keon? And when you make that trade, you think you can get him whenever you trade back, so it's not that big of a deal for the Buffalo Bills?
Yeah, I mean, listen, when we were there, at 28, there were good players on our board. We felt there were some guys on offense and defense, similar values. You know, a year ago, we had one guy sticking out in Dalton Kincaid, and so we made the move to trade up. Like we feel if we don't get him, that we're going to have to drop back and take a lesser player. We felt we had guys on both sides of the ball. We didn't want to take a huge leap, so we went from 28 to 32, and then we're still looking at our board going, hey, we still got a little bit up there, and Carolina was being aggressive and traded up for Leggett. So we were trying to, you know, not go down in value the best we could, but also acquire some more draft capital.
And that's all happening. Is this all filmed? The Buffalo Bills social media team does a great job and content team. Is this all filmed, you making these calls and conversations? And how many of those happen throughout the night before 28 gets there?
Yeah, I mean, first half of the round, you know, with 28, you know, the first half of the round, your phone's not really ringing. When we got into the 20s, you know, our guys are checking about, hey, if a player falls this far, you know, you're not telling the player, but maybe we trade up. But at the same time, got another guy that's working the teams behind us, in this case, Kansas City. And then Dan Morgan and I worked together, you know, for years. And so once we were at 32, I waited to see if, who was taking at 31, and then called Dan and jumped on the horn, and he was like, yeah, because I knew earlier in the day that they might be interested in trading back in around 1, so gave him a quick call, and we got it done pretty fast.
Yeah, and have you heard Leggett talk? Have you heard him?
Yeah, I met him. He's I know at South Carolina they have what they call the mud package, which they told me was about that This dude's out in the country, out in the mud, hunts hogs, and he was a cool guy. Like, you guys need to get him on your show. We really thought a lot of him.
Yeah, I don't know anything about him. I just heard him speak, and the first time I heard his one sentence that was, "They told me not to hurry out." As soon as I heard it, I was like, okay, would love to talk to this guy forever, not just on the program. Yeah. Should be a lot of fun. We have put a request in for him to join the program. Hopefully that'll take place. Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, so when you're trading back, like, I guess, what's it feel like, and do you ever feel pressure from the outside when you are trading back and you're patient and you're building picks and you're kind of playing the long game? It's always the sexy thing. People get excited when you trade up and do something. Does that ever factor into any decisions you make when you feel like, all right, well, we need to make a splash or something?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you worry about the outside, they don't have all the facts. There's, however you put it, we know a lot more as far as where we have guys who are smart, guys who are not smart, guys who fit our DNA, guys who fit our system. So they truly don't know all the facts to be able to tell you whether to trade up or trade back. I've been more of a trade up guy than a trade back. So people have gotten on to me in the past for trading assets away. And you know how it is. You can't win. Whatever you do, somebody's going to second guess you. This year we decided to trade back, and that pissed some people off too. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, we were booing your ass.
Big time.
We were booing your ass on the Draft Spectacular. Mostly because we were hoping to get a chance to chat with you on draft night. Once you moved to 32, we're like, we're not waiting.
Nope.
And then you got out of there. I mean, that was only 4.5 hours this year.
Yeah, pretty quick.
Pretty good. That was a shorter draft than normally it would be 6 to 7 hours somehow.
Shout out to Baltimore. There's clips coming out. It took Baltimore 7 seconds to make their selection at 30.
Thank you, Baltimore.
Yep.
Thank you for doing that and just buying into the whole, we got to watch this thing. Speaking of buying in, whole new team maybe. D-But's got a question for you, Beane.
Yeah, last year on the field, you guys kind of flipped the switch. Some would say from the outside looking in, looked like you guys went more of like a 12-personnel team. Saw Josh Allen go under center more. So almost the identity of the team kind of changed a little bit. Obviously, you let Diggs go. You traded him. You let Gabe walk in free agency. Great pick with, obviously, Coleman at the top of the draft. But how much did that change going into this draft with that new philosophy, and is that the plan kind of going forward around Josh Allen?
Yeah, I mean, I think we did have some 12 package adding Kincaid with Dawson Knox here that we used a lot last year, and then Dawson went out. He had to have surgery on his hand or whatever, and so we started. We also got hot in an 11 package. We got our run game going after Joe Brady took over. James Cook got rolling late, and really thought it took some pressure off of Josh in the passing game to do that, just being a little more complimentary football down the stretch, and we played our best football. So we do want to be balanced. We want to be able to throw the ball. You do have to do that for sure, and it's just trying to find enough pieces that do different things, giving Joe Brady and Josh the various weapons that you can line up to get mismatches, whether we're in 11 or 12.
Yeah, and Josh dialed in, through the draft process. I think I heard you say in an interview where you'll be on a golf course or something, you'll get a call from Josh, or you'll be down at the Senior Bowl, you get a call from Josh. He had just seen a highlight maybe on his phone, like, hey, what do we know? I just saw a guy.
Who's that?
I just saw a guy go, what do we know about this guy?
Yeah.
He's plugged in through the entire thing. Does he want to be a GM someday, or is he just a voice?
He don't want to do that, but he does love the process. He likes the mock draft. I swear the guy's done 200 mock drafts, and he'll send me what his final tally of our draft was. Hey, Beane, I traded next year's too, but with that, I got us, these guys. And you look at it, and the first 4 picks are all like guys that we have in the top 50 on our board. Like, Josh, this is not real, reality. But I love that he loves it, and it's fun. And listen, we'd be stupid not to hear some of his thoughts on things. So knowing that we would probably look at a receiver in the first few rounds of the draft, we gave him some guys. He sat down with a couple of our coaches, and I walked in there one day and we busted balls a little bit about who he liked. Why do you like him? Let's hear what you know. And so he gave his 2 cents. He also, I give him credit. He knows that he doesn't have the complete picture on each player, but Keon was one of the guys he definitely did like. He was like, I'd be fired up if that was one of the guys we got. And so after we traded into speaking of golf, I haven't been golfing, but he played over at one of the courses up in Philly, Pine. I can't remember what it is.
Well, I don't know because I don't get to golf. So what course?
Where was it? Pine Valley. Yeah, he played Pine Valley.
Of course, Pine Valley.
Yeah.
The John's over there.
One of the best.
That's in Delco?
Yeah.
That's in Delco over there? Sorry about that.
So he's from the driving range on Friday morning, and he's like, hey, what are you thinking? And I said, well, of course, I'd like to be where you're at. But secondly, I told him, I said, unless somebody blows us away, we're going to take Keon, with a trade offer. And so he thought that was cool. He was fired up.
Yeah, he feels like he's a scout in there. Josh seems like just bro.
Yeah.
Perfect guy. And he's invested. I love that. The fact that you take his information is huge too, because we've heard there's been some other places that are like, hey, quarterback, shut up. Even if you're all pro and you're the one that's going to have to work with these people every single day, they don't want their feeling. It's like, that makes no sense. That's why, hey, feels like this Bills culture has been, right? We got to win now. We got to win. Now's the time to go. Speaking of now and the time, Connor has a statement or a question.
Yeah, Brandon, just as a Patriots fan, I'd like to know if you're shaking in your boots because there's a new big, white, athletic son of a bitch throwing the football for the Patriots this upcoming season. Are you scared? Are you nervous? Because I would be, because it looks as though the Patriots are turning it around already, brother.
Yeah, they made a good move. We like that Drake May a lot. I was hoping. I know Elliott said he was. I did talk to Elliott through the draft, and I told him, I said, it was a good move. We were hoping you traded the pick. A lot of good things out of Drake May. We didn't get to spend time with him. Obviously, we weren't in the quarterback market, so didn't get to be around him. But everyone at the school raved about his leadership, and obviously you see the physical tools. So New England got a good one for sure.
AFC East doing what AFC East does. Last question here from Tone Diggs. Beane?
Yeah, Brandon, you took Travis Clayton, who was a International Pathways NFL draft guy out of England, who I believe he's 6'8", 300 pounds. Like, what's the scouting like that for the International Pathways like? And then how much is the success of like Jordan Mailata, who's I believe came out of that at tackle, same position? How much is the success of him gone into like more guys getting opportunities out of there?
Yeah, I mean, Tone, you don't get into this seat smartly drafting players that you've never seen play football before. So I'll start there. But we got this. We sent a scout down to watch these guys at the University of South Florida. All the guys in the International Pathway program, and so this was one of the guys he flagged. Take a look. You saw his athletic ability. Let's get him in front of the O-line coach. So we got Aaron Cromer here. Chrome called me back there one day and was like watching the film once it came in and. You see this guy, Ben, you see him run off the ball, you see him hit the bags. I mean, some raw hand technique, things like that. But to watch a guy run like 4.79 at that size, the athletic ability screams. And is he a raw piece of clay? Yes. But the other positive here is that in the international program, we get an exemption so we can carry an extra player on the 90, to training camp 91. And if we were to put him on practice squad, it allows us to have a 17th member.
I was about to ask you, the NFL is probably very, very pro getting international players onto teams. Now that they're making an exemption, it seems like roster-wise, feels like a smart decision. This guy's how tall? Ran a 4.79?
6'7", 310 is what he's listed at on the Bills website.
Oh, if he can figure it out.
What the hell?
If he can figure it out, yeah. Again, probably not smart to draft too many players that you've never seen play football. But in the 7th round, this seemed like a shot worth taking. Jordan Mailata has been a great example. If he came even somewhere close to that would be well worth that selection.
All right, last question here before we let you go golf or do whatever the hell you got to do with your scouting department. You traded away or cut all of our friends.
Yeah.
Okay. Von Miller's still up there.
Yeah.
Haven't talked to him in a while. Hopefully, he'll be able to remain healthy next year, and we'll watch him go bananas. And Josh Allen, obviously, we're massive fans of and everything like that. But it's a transition. How do you kind of, a lot of great teams, especially if you have a great quarterback with the way the salary cap is, you're going to have to rebuild that team a few different times. Do you feel like you're in that era right now with the Bills? And how complete is that mission? And this year, same expectations as before, even though a lot of the familiar names are no longer there.
Yeah. First off, tired of you busting my balls about how many times.
It's all our friends.
We're tired of it, too.
Yeah, you think you're tired of it.
It's going on for 2 months now. Enough. But,
all right, you're right.
I get it. No, it is. Listen, there is transition. There's times, throughout a team's journey along the way. And, Josh is, 6+ years in. you have to evolve, and sometimes it's cap related. Sometimes it's just an aging roster. For us, we did need to do some things to get our cap, back in order. And also, we did have some aging players. And so trying to get a youth movement, add some young guys that have some leadership qualities into some of those roles. But it is going to be a challenge. It's not easy. It doesn't mean week one we're going to step out there and everything's going to blend. But change can be good, and we are excited about where we're at. Are we done? No, we're still kind of churning the roster. We're not at 90. We'll see, what guys come available, the next few weeks. Maybe after June 1st, some guys come available. So the roster's not set, but hopefully we find some more guys that you'll like to bring on your show this year.
Well, hey, listen, anybody that'll come on from the Buffalo Bills organization, will you be pumped?
Keon Coleman.
Huh?
Oh, yeah. Keon Coleman.
Yeah, we would like the Macy's jacket wearer, Keon Coleman, snack lover, definitely to be a friend of the program. But nonetheless, we appreciate you so much for taking time. Congrats on a great draft by everybody's standards. And we can't wait to see what you do on the golf course this upcoming summer. Cheers, brother.
Cheers, guys. We'll catch up again soon.
Are you going under par ever? Or?
I don't know. If I do, I'll let you know. I'd like to. I've done it once, but it's not normal.
Here we go. $50,000 donation, okay, this particular golf season, if you're able to go under par.
Okay.
Has to be at one of those nice courses that you play at.
Can't be playing a local muni.
Yeah, we're not playing something like you hustled us before.
Hey, why don't you come to Oak Hill and we'll play this summer?
Yep.
Do your show from Oak Hill.
That sounds fun.
If Oak Hill will let us do a show from there, we will certainly put that into consideration.
If you tell me you're in, I'll call Oak Hill. I would bet you they'll do it.
We're in. Sweet.
We're in?
Yeah.
Are we in?
Yep. Sounds like we're in. Yep.
All right, bring your checkbook.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Beane. He's a stick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So good at golf.